I'm here tonight because you wanted me to be.
I'm glad you came, because I think you're gonna like it. Let's get nuts!
You are so twisted.
Let's face it, you're a knockout.
The Encyclopedia Galactica, in its chapter on love, states that it is far too complicated to define. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy has this to say on the subject of love. Avoid, if at all possible.
All right, good evening to the Bahamas and the world. Welcome to After Hours with yours truly, Sexy Vanessa. We are deep in the trap with Street King Records. Of course, Tino, the producer, holding me down as always. Yeah, man, it's been a sexy week. We've had some very sexy weather. And of course, we got a sexy show coming up for you. Tonight's show definitely being brought to you by the Laugh My Ass Off Island Comedy Experience. It all goes down May 20th. That's the Whit Monday holiday weekend. And we're going to have the Caribbean King of Comedy, man. Major Hype doing his thing. And I promise you do not want to miss it. MTV Wild Announce Rip Michaels going to be here as well. And of course, Nassau's own Get Off King. And you know your boy Naughty is going to be hosting the Vibe. The Vibe is the thing, right? Yeah, man. Come out. It's going to be a great time. So a big shout out to the whole team, man. Tickets are just $35 and they're available starting this week. So hit us up on Facebook or Twitter at After Hours 242. Or of course, you can hit up myself at More Sexy Vanessa. You know, we got the plug on the tickets, okay? And we're actually putting together a group, man. Yeah, a crew of us from the After Hours 242 groups. On Facebook and WhatsApp, we're going to be getting together and heading out to the show, man. So it's going to be a great night. Make sure you take part. Again, that's May 20th, the Laugh My Ass Off Island Comedy Experience featuring Major Hype. And he's actually my entertainer for the week, man. Yeah, listen, go on Facebook. Again, MAJAH Hype, HYPE, okay? Why is he my entertainer for the week? Because, man, when you look at what this dude is doing in terms of really just taking free press, social media, and putting his talent out there, putting his comedy out there, the following that he has amassed is just incredible, man. And I am a part of that. So I am definitely going to support his vibe. I'm so looking forward to him coming to Nassau. And of course, I got to send a big old special how it go to my boy Ken and Bahominy Events, right? They're the ones facilitating this event for us. And my friend Alec, he's up in NYC as well. And of course, all of our international listeners, I got to say, we upgraded. Now, you know, I wouldn't say that it was a test run, but I guess any show is a test run, right? You put it out there, you see what the response is going to be. And, you know, we had like a free SoundCloud account, which gives you like 3 hours, right? Which is really cool. And I'm a 90s, not a 90s baby, but a 90s kid. Like I was born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s. And I have to say, like, I don't know, SoundCloud was just that first app that really got that indie feel to it. Like, you know, share your music, share your world, share your talent. And that was so cool to me. So I love SoundCloud. We had the whole free account thing and I was working, you know, well enough. But the thing is they give you like 3 hours free, right? Okay, that's really cool. Like for my other account, I do have another SoundCloud at More Sexy Vanessa that I use like for ad work and stuff. And that was really cool for that because, you know, hey, it's 3 whole hours. Ads are only 30 seconds, right? You could get a whole heap of them on there. I have tons, and you guys should check it out because you can discover so much great music on SoundCloud as well. And lots of our Bahamian artists are on there. And, you know, it's good for them too because the average song is only like 3 minutes and 30 seconds, right? Okay, when you have a 50-minute show, yeah, 3 hours, not enough. So this week we upgraded to a SoundCloud Pro Unlimited account. Okay, yeah, we are like boss level on SoundCloud now, and it's so great because with the stats you can see everything. I know you're like, why is she talking about this like this? Because I'm talking about our international listeners, man. And it is so incredible to see how many people from all around the world are tuning into After Hours with Sexy Vanessa and, you know, joining the movement, man. Yeah, I'm going to call it that. I'm getting all activist on you. It's a sexual movement. You like that, don't you? All right, listen. I just want to send a special shout out for the international folks, right? And listen, if you want to get your city on the list, by all means, listen to us on SoundCloud, and even better, drop us a comment, a message. You know, maybe you want to say hello to someone special. We can do that as well, all right? Yeah, man, that's how we doing it. So I got to send a special shout out to our friends over there in Ashburn, right? Fayetteville, Chesapeake, all right? This is all over in the USA. Fayetteville is actually my girl, Bahama Mama. her and some of her friends over there in North Carolina. So big shout out to them. Also, San Jose, California, man. Yeah, I actually think that's my friend. And I'm not gonna lie, I have a friend who was over in California about maybe 2 weeks ago or so. And he went to this great event, and I'm like trying to shine the light, right? Because again, it's like after hours, so it's all like, mood lighting in here. But he brought me this great gift, and they're pure banana rolling papers. 20 friendly, but I'm gonna read the thing, right? All right, it says from jungle to joint. Oh my goodness. Now listen, slow burning and flavor free, made in Micronesia, right? Wherever that is. It's close to Indonesia, I'm sure, right? Listen, it's actually really cool. Oh, this isn't the thing I wanted to read. I'm like, where's the thing I wanted to read that I thought was so cool, right? Oh, here it is, right? Of course, underage sale prohibited, yes. And it says use with legal herbs only. Okay, so Tino, we got to get us some like fever grass and what do people smoke here? What's the tree, man? Sugar apple leaf, right? Ain't people to smoke sugar apple leaf? Something like that. Yeah, man. Tino shaking his. Wait. Okay, could the Bahamians please chime in? Because Tino trying to shame me on the show, right? Now, he just don't know what the hell they talking about. I think it's sugar apple leaf that the people put in the pipe, man, and smoke it. Either way, check it out, man. All right, purebanana.com. Tino is like, Chad, I'm not on your run. Tino, it's the internet. We can say this, all right? Yeah, Pure Banana Papers, purebanana.com. Check them out, okay? Big shout out to them. Again, for the international listeners, we got friends over there in Dublin, Ireland tuning in. Panorama City in the U.S., Mountain View, Tampa, right? Tampa Bay, Clearwater is actually my hometown, so big shout out to all our friends over there in Tampa listening. Miami, Pompano Beach, Berwick, Australia. Yeah, man. L.A., Dallas, Texas, Norfolk, Virginia, Spanish Town, Jamaica. Oh, what Tino Yard is tuning in to After Hours, man. Yeah, man. Amen. Big amen to them. That's what everyone thinks everyone in the Caribbean said. Listen, I got to send a shout out to Jamaica on the whole, right? They did such a good job marketing their culture that like the rest of the world seems to think that everyone from the Caribbean like says amen and like we be jamming. Like they sell you things that say Bahamas and have we don't say that. You say amen? No, he didn't. No, we don't say amen. But amen to all the Jamaicans out there, man. Yeah, rasclat. All right, listen. All right, North York in Canada, Medan, Indonesia, Toronto, Canada, Quezon City in the Philippines, Virginia Beach, Thornbury, Australia, Fort Lauderdale, Farmington, Franklin Square, Cary in the U.S., also New York City, Seminole, which is over there just south of Clearwater and Largo area. Also Bonaire, that's a special shout out to my friend Menno, a good friend of mine through BahamasLocal.com. And so he took a listen and I thought that was great. We got friends over there in Berlin, Germany, Stockholm, Sweden, Santa Margherita Ligure in Italy, Nottingham in the UK, Bradford in the UK, and of course Colombia in the US. And it's so great because, we have all of our Bahamian listeners as well. And that's not just here in Nassau. We actually have a lot of listens out of Abaco, man. Yeah, Crown Haven. So big ups to our Abaco peeps, or Habaco as they say, right? San Andres, which is over there in Andres, and also Savannah Sound. So yeah, man, big ups to all of our listeners. We love you guys so much. And again, if you want to get on the list, send a special shout out, you can drop your name. Maybe it's your birthday coming up. I don't know, whatever it is, just get in touch with us. Of course, you can do that through social media on Facebook and Twitter at More Sexy Vanessa is mine, at After Hours 242 for the show. Okay, that's how we're doing it, man. So yeah, that's really great. And again, if you want to check out the papers, I'm gonna put something up. We're gonna have our Instagram all sorted by the time you listen to this. So check us out there and definitely connect with them as well, right? Yeah, man, that's how we're doing it. We have a new episode every Sunday at 11 p.m. And like I said, don't just listen to us, but make sure that you give us a like and a follow on SoundCloud, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, which is iTunes, and of course on your favorite podcast app, all right? Whether it's Stitcher, Castbox, or the host of others, which now includes 2 more, okay? You can find After Hours with Sexy Vanessa literally all over the place. We're now also on Double Twist and Tune In, which is really huge, all right? Yeah, I love Tune In. So glad to be a part of the Tune In community and Double Twist as well. So again, check us out. And like I said, join the conversation. Get in touch. All right, there you have it. That was a lot to say, right? And I'm sure after tonight's episode, there's going to be a lot said. Yes, because we are playing the dating game. Yeah, not playing the dating game. And Tina's looking like, what? But there's only 2 of us here. What do you mean? We're not playing the dating game. But we're definitely talking about the dating game, okay? Because there seem to be a lot of people, we mentioned it last episode, real singles. And by real, I mean, you know, really down to earth, seemingly sensible, you know, intelligent, I guess qualified to date somebody in the world, singles, right? Who are still really single, and we want to find out what's going on there. So that's what it's all about tonight. It just seems like a lot of us can't find the quality of individual that we're actually interested in, or what we think we're interested in. And we're going to explore this and see if maybe we're just chasing pipe dreams, or if the dating pool is really that shallow, okay? Now, you guys know that a big part of this, and I think it's important, I don't know if I've mentioned it before. I know a lot of you listening, you think, wow, you know, she really talks like a lot of her business, right? And yeah, that's really true. I do, because at the end of the day, you know, it's hard to connect with people if you're not willing to kind of be honest and meet them at a certain level. You know what I mean? I always say it about young ladies in particular, when, you know, you're going through things maybe as a teenage girl. And I mean, teenagers on the whole, I think men are more honest, because obviously we know that, you know, men are men, I guess, as we would say, right? But for the young ladies in particular, I think we're expected to have this holy and virtuous kind of thing about us. And so when we become women, we suddenly deny everything that we did in our youth. You understand what I'm saying, Tina? Are you with me there? You understand what I'm saying? Like, seriously, as a young lady, if you're going through something, if you're, you know, having these feelings, maybe you've already started being sexually active, whatever the case may be, you know, dating, because obviously you have young ladies. I mean, we had a young lady in the group who mentioned the fact she was traveling, and she said she saw some exes, right? Now, she's only like, what, 20-something, if that, like, very early 20s, right? Or about 20-ish. And so, you know, that means she's obviously been dating from around, I guess, high school time or right after high school. And so, you know, for someone like her and all the young ladies like her, it's hard to go to like the church ladies and talk about your sex life, and, you know, because they all act like they were virgins until they were married. And that's not friggin' true. Okay, I'm just gonna put it out there for you. I mean, no, I wasn't there, but I'm just saying it can't be true. It can't. We're always so led to believe that the struggles that we face are so unique to us. And the fact of the matter is, no, the temptation is common to man, okay? We all deal with the same types of issues. And, you know, that's part of the mission with the show, really, for us to be able to put it out there, not in a ratchet way, but just to put it out there to be honest and, you know, actually get some facts out there and maybe help one another through this thing called life, you know? So, yeah, it's the dating game. I'm going to share a little bit about my dating history. Are you ready? This is going to be interesting, right? Everybody's like, let's listen to this ratchery. Okay, no, seriously, right? Just to give you an idea of where I'm coming from, right? And I wouldn't say, there have been times where I felt jaded, you know, when I was growing up, 30, like if you didn't have a husband and like a house with a picket fence and like 2.5 kids by 30, like you're just dead. You're a spinster. You're an old maid. Like nothing is going to happen for you. That's how it was when I was growing up. And then you get older and you realize, no, hey, there's still a lot of life to live. You know, I'm not married yet. I'm already 33, but I want you to know kind of where I'm coming from and what my experience has been. And, you know, for me, I did start dating in my teens. And, you know, from the age of 16 to 19, I dated a few people. Yes. It was an interesting time. I would say that I always dated people who are older than me. I know you're thinking, wait, but she was like 16 to 19. Like, now listen, when I was 16, I was already out of school. Okay. When I moved here to the Bahamas, I was 16. And actually, I enrolled in college at Bahamas Baptist Community College. Okay. So even though I wasn't an adult, I was beyond, you know, high school at that point, already enrolled in college. And yeah, around a lot of older people. But I was always one of those persons who kind of gravitated to the older crowd. I like conversation. And unfortunately, a lot of times, you know, younger people like to talk about things that I just didn't find that interesting. You know, I would say that I was blessed to, for the most part, always meet guys who tried to educate me on some level. You know, I don't know, you're a guy. You know there are some guys who kind of try to teach you things in life and try to help you get somewhere. And then there's some guys who just kind of there for the nookie, you know what I mean? And get what they want. Tino laughing. Yeah, because it's the truth, you know? Again, Lauryn Hill, that thing, right? Either way, for me, like I said, I had some pretty good guys. And I met my son's dad when I was 19. He and I were together for 6.5 years. Then we were apart for 3 years, and then we cohabited. Cohabited. You know what that is? It's when you like live together, but you ain't really together. Whoo, aka the challenge, the struggle, okay? Like that, boy, that calls for some serious adulting, okay? But we did that for like 3 years while I was making some changes in my career. And as you see, we've survived it. We're not together now, but I think that we co-parent very well, all right? And I will say, you know, the 3 years that we were apart, like kind of in the middle, I didn't really have any bad experiences, you know? That was the time, you know, I mentioned last week, like I dated the married guy in my 20s. That was that time. But again, we'll have an episode about why men cheat and talk about some of those reasons, which I think you guys will find very interesting. But it wasn't that bad. Now this lap, you know, I jump in the dating pool and promptly buck my head, okay? Like I dove in and like straight concussion, bro. You understand? The dating pool is so shallow right now. I don't know what to say. And this has been like 1.5 years now. And I still must say that I don't think I found my balance in here, man. I'm like, boy, doing the doggy paddle dread. I ain't getting no good strokes in. Hey, I ain't you know, it's rough, man. It's really rough trying to date. And the thing is, right? I want to know what the problem is because to be honest with you, I am interested in getting married, okay? So whatever the issue is, like, I need to be that change I want to see in the world. Like, I need to help fix this so that myself and Tino, because I think Tino would like to be married one day, and all my other, you know, deserving brothers and sisters can, you know, find monogamous joy or polyamorous joy, you know? Hey, if you're into that, right? We'll talk about that too, right? You could go to Utah and marry more than one person. That's polygamy. That's some serious stuff, right? Tina, would you like to have 2 wives? Tina laugh. Hey, some guys are like, what? 1 woman is more than enough. All right, listen, man. I have to say, I know the reason I mentioned being jaded, right? A lot of us get really discouraged and really bitter when you kind of go through bad relationships. And the thing is, you got to pay attention, man. You know, for a long time, I would have said that I only knew 1 or 2 maybe happily married couples, you know? Really, I knew more couples that would probably give me reason not to be married, you know what I mean? But recently, I've kind of, you know, taken responsibility for the energy around me. And I see that there is a lot of love and joy and happiness out there, you know? Even on my Facebook profile, I've kind of like unfollowed people that always have like the negative rants. And so this week I went on my timeline and I look and there was actually so much goodness, right? I was really encouraged because I'm talking about like, I gotta send a shout out Latoya, now Miller, right? She got married. So congratulations to her, which was awesome. One of my friends, DJ Bravo, he has a new baby, which was really cool. I got to see photos from a friend of mine, Catherine Chisnall. Oh, great Greek family, right? Which we have a huge Greek community here in the Bahamas. And just, I love seeing photos of her kids and her family. And it's just really touching, you know. My friend Bianca Nygaard, her son Maddox and her daughter Sailor. I mean, again, just really happy stuff. My friend Reds and his girl Aqua, they have a baby. And, you know, it's like, oh, wow, look at all that joy and happiness. You know, like my friend Sinette, she had a baby. Wow, it's really great, right? And I was really happy looking at all this on my timeline. And then it's like, it just hasn't gotten to me, right? Like, I'm not bitter about it. I'm genuinely happy for all of these people. I know it's out there, but it just ain't get to me, you know? Like, pass the Dutchie on the left hand side. Somebody holding up on the Dutchie, man. Somebody got to pass the love, man, okay? I'm looking for it. It's hung up somewhere. We are going to find it, all right? Now, the dating game. Let's talk about what we're really doing here. And again, you know, part of what we talk about is purpose and pleasure, right? A lot of things that are pleasurable, but even things that are pleasurable have a purpose, right? Like, you love to eat food, but food has a purpose. The purpose of the food is to give you the nutrition that you need, the sustenance that you need to keep your body going, right? That's your fuel. Dating has a purpose as well. Now, let's talk about like dating and courtship, because some people say, you know, it's this whole thing where like chivalry is dead and gentlemen don't know, or men don't know how to be gentlemen. Dating is really courtship. That's what it's meant to be, okay? A courtship being the period of time during which a man makes his intentions known to a young lady and he, you know, woos her, as someone in the group said today, right? That's what it's meant to be. I want to point out, and I said this to someone the other day, it was very interesting even to me. You know, in the Bible, there wasn't like this thing that we call a relationship, right? Like this perpetual purgatory or limbo. Like, I swear this must be a Catholic thing, right? Let me tell you what I mean by that. Like, back in the day, I say in the Bible, right? But let's just talk historically in general. The whole deal was, okay, the guy picks a female, and who knows, maybe you could court more than one female at a time, but usually the guy picks this one female that he's very interested in, and the families talk, and, you know, he begins demonstrating his interest through gifts, through visits, through, you know, doing certain things to demonstrate his ability to provide. In some cultures, you have dowries and things like that, gifts that have to be given to the bride's family, etc. Okay? That was the beginning part. Okay? Now, again, it wasn't a promise of anything. He's just making his moves. Okay? He's peacocking. All right? That's what he's doing. Now, and for those of you who are like, what is the peacocking thing? If you don't realize, or if you don't know, in the animal world with the birds, you would think that it would be the female birds who would be all hyped up, but it's not. It's really the male. When I say hyped up, I was souped up, beautiful. Like, I'm sorry, I'm thinking about lowriders, I guess. I don't know. But, you know, they're the ones who have all the beautiful feathers, the male birds, because they're putting on a show for the female to select the mate, okay? It's may the best man win kind of thing. And so a courtship for humans is meant to be the same thing, okay? That's not a relationship as yet. Now, as I said, what happens is once they decide that, okay, the female accepts or a family accepts, then it's now we're betrothed. That's engaged, okay? You went straight from talking, showing your intent, to engaged. And no, you have not had sex yet. At least you weren't supposed to have sex yet, okay? So this long term where, you know, you're hooked up with a person and shacking up, as some people would say, or playing house, as I like to call it, for years, you know, you and this person are sleeping together, especially if you already have kids together, that sort of thing. You know, that's not what it's meant to be. At some point, some more commitment was required, okay? Even, and I find this very funny, right? For those of you who don't know, there's something called common law marriage, all right? Which is after 7 years, even the law says that if you, a man and a woman, have been playing house, now you're considered married, okay? Like, if you go to court, like if you break up and she tries to sue you either, you know, for things like, you know, property, things like that, the law considers it differently than just a girlfriend. Because they're like, dude, if y'all been shacking up for 7 years, you know, I don't care what you say about it not being a relationship. You understand? Like, bruh, you committed, okay? The government says you're committed. You understand? And so, you know, this is something that I'm looking at, because looking at how it used to be and how it is now, you know, the question is, how did we arrive at this point that we're at? And is it truly better? The reason that they consider common law marriage a thing is because the purpose of being with someone is truly, and at its most basic level, to perpetuate the human race, okay? You are here to be fruitful and multiply, have sex, have babies, okay? Now, of course, we do other industrious things and we share our art and talent and things like that. But ultimately, that was the first instruction and the primary instruction. And it's so funny because this week, someone in the group, in the After Hours 242 WhatsApp group, suggested that they didn't think Adam and Eve that were having sex before the fall. And I was like, no, bro. Like, I think that's all they were doing, man. I think they were, like, eating fruit, right? Because they didn't eat meat at the time. I think they were, like, eating fruit. And I think they were definitely, like, having sex and having babies, okay? I think that's what it's about. Now, you know, I mean, really, if you think about it, they didn't have anything to do, right? Like, what else were they doing? They didn't have After Hours with Sexy Vanessa to listen to, right? No TV, no nothing like that. Now, of course, this purpose still exists. But what has changed over time is how the whole thing is approached. And again, how we have separated purpose and pleasure in our lives. It's really, right now, the way that people approach dating, it's slightly confusing to me. And again, I really wanted to kind of like straighten it out. Like Alec Baldwin, he told his daughter that one time. She was doing something. He's like, oh, come up there and straighten your ass out. Yeah, I love it. Look for the sound clip, man. It's very funny. But yeah, I think the dating game needs like a dose of act right. Okay, so that's what we're here about. And of course, this week we were talking about it in the groups. You know, what's your criteria? you know, what are we really looking for? Because again, if there are so many single people out there, men and women, who we all seem to be such wonderful people, why are we not finding each other, you know? This is really what I wanted to dive deep and find out and explore. Of course, you know, when you ask the question, you get the basic things like, oh, someone with good hygiene and, you know, hardworking, loves animals, you know, do you like pina coladas? That kind of thing, right? Yeah, I'm like all for that, right? Of course, you talk about looks is another thing. And it's funny because my mom always says, you know, beauty is only skin deep, but ugly goes straight to the bone. And it's so true because you have some really good looking people who do not have attractive spirits, and that kind of shows on them, and you wonder why they're not attractive, because there's a difference between looking good and being attractive. Okay, being attractive or even having that sex appeal, that's a spirit thing, right? That's your swag element. Okay, but I believe that everybody looks the way they look for a reason. You know, God knew who you were going to run into in life, and he knew who was going to be compelled to look at you and like you and look at you and not like you, you know what I mean? And it's funny because for me, like I'm all natural now. And even for me, a big part of my natural journey was like one day I realized that I didn't know what God really made me to look like. Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, let me try this out. And I got to say, I'm loving it, man. Yeah, I'm loving it. Like a good friend of mine says, now I have my antenna up, right? Yeah, man. I'm tuning into my black girl magic. But it's really, again, it's a spiritual thing. And that's really what I think is missing when people are talking about the dating game, right? It's not just the good looks. Because again, even what you think looks good and what you find attractive changes over time. I mean, I remember when I was a teenager, the whole thing was, you know, if you didn't look like you came out of, you know, Teen Bop magazine, you know, like they had, I'll never forget, I had this like poster of Chris O'Donnell out of like Tiger Beat or something, right? It was like a teenage magazine. And he had on like no shirt. And I think he just played like Robin in one of the Batman movies or something. And, you know, blue eyes and it looks so good. And so, you know, in my late teens, and I guess in my mid-teens, what you thought you would find attractive were guys who, you know, had six packs and, you know, were sleek and no hair on their chest, and somehow they had to be like oiled down like all the time. Like, oh my goodness, I never forget this guy named Steele. Boy, I thought he was so good looking. He's like the first bodybuilder guy that I knew. He was all buff and stuff. And you know, when you're young, like that's what you want. You think, okay, that is attractive, and oh, I don't want anybody that's out of shape or like this or like that. And then you get older and yeah, that perception changes because you realize that looks are only a part of it, you know, and looks are no competition for spirit. So again, while we know that's all a part of what we want, I think the spiritual aspect and kind of the way people make us feel is what's lacking in the dating game. Okay. I really think that's what it is. Let's talk about that. The emotional cup. All right. Again, everyone has an emotional cup, and first impressions, when you talk about how someone makes you feel, that spirit that you get, you know, you ever hear someone say, oh, my spirit just doesn't take to them? Yeah, that kind of thing. How someone makes you feel, especially as a woman, and guys, you know, get the notepad out. When you make a woman feel objectified, it's not usually a good thing. Now, you got some women who are into that, right? Hey, I ain't knocking nobody. That's your thing, right? But that first impression, those first words, they matter so much more than I think a lot of men realize, okay? And, you know, of course, we all know the corny pickup lines and, you know, did it hurt? What? When you fell from heaven? You know what I mean? That kind of thing. It's even more interesting for me here in the Bahamas because I think, like, Bahamian men are very creative with the things they say to you. And they say, they're like kids, I guess. Like Bill Cosby would say, kids say the darndest things, right? Like, I'll never forget one time I was pregnant with my son. And I was at a gas station, and I'm like getting out of the car, going back to the car, and this guy says to me, hey, you know, what you saying? You know, you look good, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, you know, can't you see I'm kind of pregnant here? And he's like, oh, I thought that was bad shape. That's all the better. And I was like, what? Like, what? Like, dude, what do you mean? And what I was so confused because it was like a left-handed compliment. Is that what they call it? Yeah, when you're being complimented and like insulted at the same time. But that was like his pickup line. And you know, we get a lot of the seeking, you know. Yeah, that's how you know a good Bahamian guy, right? You seek oi. my size. You know what I'm saying? Solid. Chunky is one we say in the States too. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I kind of like that one. But you know, these are the things that guys say, and you know, yeah, well, sometimes you might smile in your head because you know it sounds nice, or you know you look nice, or yeah, everyone likes to be admired. No lie, as you get older, you know, you don't respond to those things. Because my name isn't sugar, dumpling, honey, sweetie, none of those things. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, I always tell my son, you seek, which is this, I was like, listen, you seek at a cat, you kiss at a dog, right? You say good afternoon to a human being, okay? Say good day, like just speak like a normal human. It's really not that difficult. And it's so funny because as young as he is, when he was about, he's 9 now, when he was about 6, 7 years old, one of his dad's friends was like trying to holler at this girl walking down the road or whatever, and he was kissing at her. So he says to him, I'm going to call him out, Elmo. Hey, Elmo. Yeah, that's what we call him. Big shout out to Elmo Bean. So he says, Elmo, he says, you don't kiss the girl like that, man. So, of course, Elmo's looking at my kid like, what? So he's like, yeah, you don't kiss the girl like that. He's like, no, man, she likes that. He's like, no, she doesn't like that. She's a human. She'd like for you to talk to her. You know what I mean? And as young as he is, you know, that's when I knew my messages were getting across. But again, that first impression matters. It kind of gives us an idea, or we take it as an indication of what a man might be into, okay? And the level of respect that we can expect from him. And it's important that you learn as a man how to approach a woman. And as a woman, it's important that you know, not demand in terms of being overbearing, but carry yourself in such a way that commands a certain level of respect, right? One of the things I don't like to do, I'm really not a club person. I never have been. I don't like being around a whole bunch of drunk people. But the other thing is, I don't like the mindset, you know? It's kind of like we had a song here, Muggling, like, you can't muggle like me. Okay, anyway, right? I'm not going to sing the song, but I guess I already did. Either way, in the song, the guy, it was like a teenage kind of song, but he talked about like dancing with this girl, and then he was like, he reached around and grabbed her, and how she was hairy. And like people were singing the song. One of the radio stations even had like a party that was centered around the Muggling theme or whatever. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I was appalled because I was like, okay, did nobody just hear like the guy talk about sexual assault in the song? You know what I mean? Like, it's such a part of our mindset. Like, we're so inundated with sexuality that someone mentioned sexual assault and it doesn't even register to us like that. You know what I mean? We don't even hear that. One of the things now, you know, apparently Bill Cosby was, you know, convicted, I guess, and sentenced, I understand, perhaps. I haven't actually followed up on the story, but I've been hearing bits and pieces, and I understand there was a sentence. My mom was trying to tell me how long it was as the verdict was handed down, you know, about these quaaludes and I guess drugging persons way back in the 70s. And I will be honest with you, I can't say I believe all of it. I believe they all took the drugs. I can't say that I believe he forced anybody to take drugs. He may have made the drugs available to them. He may have offered it to them. He may have, you know, if they said, yeah, facilitated them in you know, drinking it, swallowing the pills or whatever. But as far as my mom says, you know, these things were readily available at the pharmacy back then. This wasn't, you know, some, I guess, unknown or secret thing. It's something that people were very much doing. And, you know, the hippies and the flower power and all that stuff, right? Yeah, and the yellow school bus. I mean, think about it. The Temptation song, White Lines, like they were talking about cocaine, man. Yeah, dude, the song says free bass. Hello. You know what I mean? This is what we're talking about. And so, you know, don't get me wrong. I am certainly an advocate for women's rights, and this is part of what I'm saying. So I'm just saying I don't think that the Cosby thing is truly what they're trying to make it out to be. And I really don't fully jump on that bandwagon in terms of society calling this some great win, because at the end of the day, and I'm an American citizen, at the end of the day, we have a president who, you know, openly admits to sexually assaulting women. He says he can grab them by their, you know, punanis at any time, you know, and this is someone that we voted for to be president of our country. But yet, Bill Cosby, who took quaaludes with females who probably wanted to do it and were hanging out with him and chose to hang out with him, you know, he's being completely like railroaded. I don't know. It's not balanced to me. You know what I mean? It's really not balanced to me at all. And so again, this is what I'm talking about. I don't think it's really right. People say they stand up for right. Society says that we stand up for right. But it's not truly standing up for right when you only do it when it's convenient to you, you know? For instance, with the Cosby Show. Just for the allegations, all of the Cosby Show, you know, is taken out of syndication. Meanwhile, as I understand, the guy who was the father on Seventh Heaven is allegedly a pedophile, but that show is still in syndication everywhere, you know? Is it because he's white? I don't know. But again, standing up just for right when it seems convenient, or when you're just jumping in with the in crowd or with the media or with whoever, you know, is shouting the loudest, that's not standing up and truly doing what's right. Doing what's right, and the true test of your character is when you're able to do it even if you're the only voice that's saying it, okay? And I think that's really important, man, you know? It's really important. And so, you know, even on this show, and Les Brown says it as well, you know, when he talks about how he got fired from radio because he thought it was not just a medium to entertain people, but to empower them. I hope that the things that we talk about on this show is we talk about sex and relationships and sexual health and emotional health. You know, hopefully this is something that's contributing to your life and empowers you to, you know, not just own your sexuality, but also get the very best out of life and make sure that you only have people who are contributing positive energy into your life, you know? Don't be afraid of that. Once you stand for right, and once you know, stand for yourself, the universe will take care of you, okay? I promise you that. And so, you know, as we talk about, again, how people kind of come on to you, man, listen, some of these lines, it's like that Kendrick Lamar song, miss me with that bullshit, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need to hear that. I don't want to hear it. I'm like totally over it. And, you know, it's funny because even when sometimes you give a guy a chance to talk to you, and again, I'm talking from my own personal experience, and we want feedback not just from the females, but also from the guys. Join the conversation, Facebook and Twitter, After Hours 242. But, you know, when guys try to talk to you, like, it seems like nowadays they don't even quite know how to, like, invite you out properly. Like, everyone tells me, oh, I want to see you. Tina, what does that mean? I want to see you. What is... I don't understand. Did they forget to say naked? Like, really? Like, what does that mean, man? I keep asking this question. What does it mean? I thought it was a Bahamian thing. It's not just a Bahamian thing, because I have a friend in North Carolina. He said the same thing, I want to see you. And I was like, what? And then he said it again. So I don't know if there's, like, some hidden understanding. Like, I don't get it. Like, what happened to formulating a plan? You know what I mean? Like, what happened to really just asking someone on a date, like making like a proper invitation, you know? And I have to tell you, I'm so used to guys just not knowing how to act and just screwing it up within like the first 2 weeks of even chatting with them. It's so funny, right? I met a guy, I was walking home one day, and he was on his like what is that, Tina, the trail bikes, like a 650, the red and white bikes, man. The trail bike, right? Man, that's what the red, you know, acting like he ain't know they talking about, man. Y'all know what they talking about, man. It's like a 650, I think, the trail bike, and they're mostly red and white for some reason. I don't know. They must just make them all the same color. Anyhow, he saw me and he had asked me for my number, and of course I was like, no, you know, I don't give my number out. I was like, no, but you know, if it's meant to be, you know, we'll see each other again. And I always say that to people, and I never see them again. Well, lo and friggin' behold, the other day, I'm walking again, right? And this car stops, and he was like on the access road, and I was, you know, so there was like some land in between us, and he was trying to say something to me, and he was laughing, and I had my headphones in, so I actually, because he was laughing, because I normally don't give people the time of day, I will not lie to you. Like, I'll say hello, but that's about it, right? When it comes to guys, like, I can't take being hit on all the time. I'm over it, right? I guess I'm jaded or bitter at that point. Either way, because he was laughing, I was like, I don't know what this guy is saying to me. It didn't seem just like a normal come on, right? So I walk over, and wouldn't you know, it's this guy, and he's saying to me, he's like, oh, do you remember? I saw you, and you said if it's meant to be, I'll see you again, right? Okay, so lo and behold, I did give him my number. So we chat for like a week, and he's made no mention of sex, okay? Like, no mention of anything sexual. Just dead, normal human being conversation. Okay. And I found myself thinking, well, hold on, is this guy like not into me? Right? Which, mind you, it's not that you should be talking about sex in the first week. It's just that I'm so used to, I guess, men misbehaving in that aspect or being so, I guess, thirsty in that aspect that I realized like I had to snap out of it. I was like, hold on, I had to like reset my brain. You know what I mean? And this is what we're talking about, you know, how people make you feel. I'm just accustomed to them kind of jacking it up to an extent, you know what I mean? And you kind of get skeptical, you know? And again, Bahamian guys are funny. And so I'm not saying don't use a pickup line or don't be creative. I mean, I was walking by the school the other day and this guy hollers out, all the meat for me, no rice. And I thought that was cute, right? Thankfully he didn't stop, because I don't know if I would have thought it was so cute if he stopped. But, you know, if you make a lady laugh, there are ways to, you know, say funny things, be yourself, express yourself without being offensive. You know what I mean? You gotta like finesse it, you know? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I gotta say hey to my friend Jade in the group, in the After Hours 242 group, because she says she had a guy, she was traveling, and she said she had this guy who, I guess he like sped by her or something, then pulled in front of her. And he's like, you want to get knocked down, eh? And she was like, no. And then he's like, do you want to ride? And she's like, wait, like what's going down there? So I don't know if she really found that cute. But again, you know, there's nothing wrong with being yourself. I just think you gotta like, you know, you gotta remember that nowadays ladies are expecting more. I think we're tired. We've accepted a little bit less for too long. And, you know, we want a little bit more, you know, act like you're serious. As I said before, formulate a plan. Okay, guys? Like, I can't say it enough. This whole I want to see you thing, or this whole like you want chill, like what do you mean by that? Like, no, I don't want to chill. I would like for you to invite me on a proper date. And it's so funny because like one of the guys in the group said something about dating is like so not in anymore, right? And I had told him, I was like, no, man, I've been on 2 dates, you know, relatively recently, right? Talking my business again. One, I went to this great restaurant. If you're ever here in Nassau, check them out. Green Parrot, down by the bridge. And so went there. That was very nice, right? Had another date where we went to the beach, and we went to the liquor store first, right? Got some wine, and we went to the beach and we're hanging out. And oh my goodness. Okay, sidebar, right? Talk about mortifying stories. So for anybody who has ever traveled here to the Bahamas, and you know, some places in the US you can get it too, you know, conch is a big thing, right? And for those of you like the Bahamas, what? Yeah, that's what the 242 is in the After Hours 242 hashtag and in our social media accounts. 242 is our area code. We broadcast from the Bahamas. Either way, you know, it's like a Saturday afternoon. Go to the beach, and it's like, okay, you know, this is a nice, cool kind of first date. You know what I mean? Like, you have a chance to talk, and he can see that I'm a real woman because I don't have on any, like, fake stuff. You know what I mean? So we're having a good time, but he finds, like, we were walking around the rocks, and, like, I'm looking, like, at Wilkes and things like that, but he finds this conch, right? So, again, for those you know, conch is something we have here in the Bahamas. And he's like, wow, look at the conch. So now he determines that he's going to take this conch out of the water. Now, Tino, you know about conch? You know how the fellas that tie up their conch on the string, right? Okay, this conch ain't just like wild conch, okay? This conch belongs to somebody, okay? And this brother has determined that he gonna move this conch. Well, child, let me tell you, I was standing there, this big broad daylight, you know, and we're on the side. Now, for those of you thinking like, okay, well, what's the problem? That's like basically almost like, it is like stealing in a way. Now, mind you, no, the people weren't there, and it's not like it was like 500 conch or something. It was like a couple bunches. And he was saying, you know, maybe somebody left it there. I'm just standing there with my wine, watching the scene, okay? Did you know that, like, he picked up like 3 or 4 bunches, and like as he went to get like the next bunch, this car pulls up, right? It's the dudes who own the freaking conch, right? Oh my God. So like the one dude gets out, they playing like good cop, bad cop, right? So one dude gets out, oh, I'm moving this conch, this and that, right? So I there with my wine like, me, I drinking wine, bro. And I know what you talk about, man, drink my wine, right? So I'm drinking the wine. He's like, okay, no, man, I ain't find the conch. Like, he doing all the explaining, you know what I mean? Now, the guy who's playing the good cop and is just talking real nice, come to find out, I know him. Oh my, I hope my son's dad don't listen to this episode. Anyway, I know him. My son's dad is a boat captain, okay? I've known this guy longer than I've had my son. You understand? And he's like, oh, but then I was like, bro, he say you find the conch. I ain't drinking my wine. That wasn't the best date, okay? But at least the guy had a plan, you know what I mean? Like, he was like, let's go somewhere where we can talk. And he wasn't pushy. There was no, sexual overtones or anything like that. So, again, I know that it does exist. There are guys out there that still know how to invite you on a date. But again, it just seems kind of difficult. And I think that there are a lot of guys that complain and kind of have the expectations a little mixed up, right? Again, we talked about it in the After Hours 242 group. Dating, the one guy said that, that was something that kind of happened from the 60s to the 80s. Now, I don't know. He carried on like dating with some experiment. That just didn't go right, and like the world gave up on it. So I don't know exactly what he was talking about, but obviously courtship is something that has been going on. I guess probably ever since maybe the fall. Because, Adam didn't have to court Eve, so I guess he had it the best out of any of the dudes, right? His stuff was on time. He got it like, bam, perfect, and that's how it was meant to be. Unfortunately, we messed that up. But, courtship is something that's always gone on. And to be honest with you, the reason I say, and guys say that, I kind of carry him hard, but, listen, back in the day, for a guy to even talk to a woman, he used to have some sort of inheritance. He had to have a skill or a trade, a business, be royalty, come from a noble family. He had to have something, okay? And guys nowadays will complain and say, oh, high maintenance, this and that. But like I tell people, listen, a Jones will always look at a mansion and say it's high maintenance, okay? Now, I ain't saying the guys is Joneses, but what I'm trying to say is date on your level, all right? The best thing I ever heard was a guy who told me that he picked one female over another because the one female, when she had problems, they were like $1,000 problems. You understand? Like, she was a lawyer. You know what I mean? So she was making her own money. But yes, no matter what level you're at, you're usually striving or should be striving for more and, building, investing, things like that. And so if she had a problem, that calls for thousands of dollars to kind of fix it. The other one was a Cuban young lady. And for her, her problems were like $100, but like, you give her $200, problem fixed. So for him, it just made sense. And it's nothing against the other one who calls for more, It's just, listen, date on your level, okay? And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I think that goes, for both sides. Because at the same time, you can't be a female that doesn't really have anything to contribute per se, right? Other than maybe your sexual aspects. And necessary. Now, mind you, I guess there are guys who keep females kind of like pets. Like, they just like you because you're pretty and you cute. I must see that cute, I know. I look good. You see how good I look? Anderson. Hey, Miss Mabel out there in Carmichael Road. How y'all doing? I coming to see y'all soon. Listen, Anderson always said, you see how good I look? You know what I mean? But yeah, I guess there are some guys, I understand, in the very, very rich and elite world that you can be kept as a pet and people will like pay for your home. And he's getting that word. I don't know if I won't be there. They must see, who knows what they have to do. That's why you don't be jealous of people, because you never know what they have to do to keep that status, man. Either way, like I said, date within your level, okay? And it's a serious thing when you talk about being unequally yoked. And mind you, it's not that you have to necessarily have it all together, right? Because the guy did mention how it's, expensive to get a house nowadays. And yeah, things rough, as we say. We understand that. But at the same time, even if you don't have the money, you have to have the skill, the talent, the something to be able to make it happen. And as a female, you have to have some sort of skill, talent, or something to be able to help him make it happen. You know what I mean? As a helpmeet, you have to be able to help meet something, okay? And it's so funny because, I told you I was listening to that Kodak Black song, right? And he's like, you want me to take my time with you? Well, maybe I'm not your speed. Like, sometimes it's just like that, man. Be with people who kind of encourage you to be the best version of yourself. And, it's interesting because, again, I think part of the unhappiness, people mention these basic things that they want, like you got to be good looking, got to be hardworking, etc., right? However, etc. Let me say that properly. However, those aren't the things that I hear people complaining about in relationships, okay? I hear people complaining about things like money. You know what I mean? Finances, I hear guys always asking this thing about whether a relationship should be 50-50, how much a female should contribute, things like that, right? And we're going to put some polls up. Definitely check us out again, Facebook and Twitter. Join the conversation at After Hours 242. But let's talk a little bit about this 50-50 thing, because that's a big part of the expectation and why a lot of guys say that I guess females decide that they don't want to be with them, maybe because the guy isn't doing enough. At the same time, you have females who are with guys who really ain't doing nothing, but then they still talking to other guys and trying to get money out of them. You know what I mean? And it's like, so what you with that dude for? You know, let's talk about what we're supposed to be bringing to the table, because while I don't personally believe that finances necessarily need to be 50-50, I do believe that we are of equal value, but everyone has a role, okay? Everyone contributes their own thing. I ain't lie. There is a subsection of men right now that seem like they want you to take care of them, right? Tino laugh, right? Tino, I know you know some of them dudes, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's and some of them are like really proud of it too. You know what I mean? I don't get that part, okay? Because really, like, I have one child. That's the only person I'm responsible for raising, you understand? Yes, I will help my family out. Yes, if we dating or whatever, and, you know, you going through a little something and I can help and, you know, balance things out, of course, because, you know, we're here to support each other. But this whole taking care of thing, and I realize, like, I'm not gonna lie, I think because I'm, like, in my 30s now, even though somebody told me the other day I look 25, oh boy, did it feel good. Yeah, boy, it's grinning all day. Anyhow, I think that guys, when they realize you're older, even the ones that don't say it, I think there is like a low-key expectation that since you're further along in your life or in your career or whatever, that, you know, you should really be the one to kind of, you know, do things and buy them things and do things like that, you know? And there are some women who kind of push that as well. And my problem is that I think we've gotten it twisted, because now we're so focused as women on being so-called independent that it's almost like a shame for a guy to do something for you. You know what I mean? Like, we're not supposed to even expect that, because then you're a gold digger or you're high maintenance, or, you know, you just playing hard to get. And it's like, well, am I supposed to be easy? Like, I don't understand. What do you mean playing hard to get? Like, what am I supposed to do? Just like lay it open for you? Like, no, like, again, may the best man win. You know what I mean? And again, part of courtship has a purpose. If the purpose is for us to be hopefully moving towards something greater and seeing if something greater is going to work out, then, you know, I am a person, as liberated as my views are, I definitely have some traditional values. And I very much believe that men are meant to be the primary provider, you know, in the relationship. And again, even if he doesn't have the money, he has to have the talent or something that I can then go invest in him, whether that be financially, whether that be using my skill set to improve his business, you know, so that as a family we can make the money. Okay, so don't get me wrong, it's not all about, you know, the bucks that you have right now, but you have to have potential, and not just latent potential. Okay, you have to have beyond potential, like on the road. Okay, because as my brother told me, not all potential is realized. You have to be making some steps and making some strides towards, you know, what you want. And the reason I say this is, and what kills me is when the guys talk about the 50-50 thing, the ones who do, is because at the end of the day, if I have to do just as much as you, right? Now, you can't carry the baby for 50% of the time. That's one thing you can't do, okay? But if I have to do just as much as you, what the hell gives you the right to be the head? Oh, I'm getting sassy. But seriously, like, if like, as a man, you have to either be able to teach me something. There has to be something that compels a woman to respect you, okay? And not just to respect you as a human, because yes, common respect is one thing. But if you expect a woman to submit to you and to see you as the head and to give deference and to be obedient in your relationship in terms of your desires and where you're leading. And again, submission is not control. It's not about a man controlling a woman. Submission is a woman saying to you as a man, hey, guess what? I think your leadership is worthy. I like where this boat is going, and I'm jumping on board. You know what I mean? And for to do that, you have to have something. You can't just be like going nowhere and like expect all this kingly respect, man. Like, I don't understand. Yeah, man. And that's why I'm saying, likewise, as a woman, I don't think you can expect to get treated like a queen if you aren't adding some value, okay? It has to be some added value. And it can be difficult, you know. I talked about the movie Acrimony. That was crazy, man, because, You know, for those of you who haven't seen it, sorry, spoiler alert, because it's been weeks and weeks now. You should have checked it out already. But, you know, she helped that dude out long, and then she got tired, and then, like, she divorced him, and then he made it big, and then he still gave her money, but she was not satisfied. Now, I think sis should have been, she got $10 million, though. She should have been satisfied. You understand what I'm saying? Like, she really should have been satisfied at that point. But again, you know, she was hurt because of how long she had to put in that investment. And so, you know, when you do decide to be with someone who maybe doesn't have all the dollars at the time, you got to know whether or not you're truly in it for the long haul. And, you know, it's important, again, when you talk about being unequally yoked, and I'm about to wrap up because I'm so going to go over time tonight. This is such a good topic. We're going to have a part 2 for this. You know, when you talk about being unequally yoked, it's so difficult to be in a relationship where the other person doesn't even share your same interests, right? Or where they don't feed into you at the same intellectual level, okay? Because you're going to want to talk about certain things and it's going to like go over their head. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be exactly matched, but there has to be the capability to understand and learn, right? And to, you know, comprehend what's going on. And truly, I think that when you're not able to support your significant other, even if they're cool with that, because some people be cool with that, right? Like, you married and the person ain't into the things you into, and that's fine. You just go and do your own thing. And sometimes that can work, you know, because again, people should govern themselves. But I think you're kind of leaving the door open, because at the end of the day, when you're in a relationship, I mean, listen, give me feedback. Let me know if I'm wrong. But I think you want to share all those things that you love so much with the person that you love so much. And so, you know, you kind of leaving the door open for emotional support from somewhere else. And we can talk about that on one episode too, emotional cheating. Like, is that, you know, really, really cheating? Is that a thing? But it seems like a setup, and it creates distance in families, you know. And I'll be honest with you, I think even the school system creates distance because it's, you know, everything is so separated. My brother even talked about when he and his wife got separate vehicles, how it changed the dynamic of their relationship, because whereas before they were forced to spend time with each other every morning and every evening and have that bonding time, you know, when they got separate vehicles, it just became totally different. And so, you know, when you're unequally yoked and when you're not on the same wavelength and when you're not contributing that same positive energy into each other's life, that's when things get wonky, you know? And I think that's what people are missing in this dating game. I think that's where things are falling down. At the end of the day, we see people that are good looking, they're hardworking, they're nice folks, but they don't feed the proper energy into our lives. And the thing is, to really feed someone else the proper energy, you have to be at the proper wavelength yourself. You got to be feeding yourself the proper energy, you know? Again, your emotional cup. What's in the cup is for you. My cup runneth over. What's out of the cup is for other people, as Iyanla Vanzant says. So, you know, I think that's very important. As women, again, guys, I'm letting you know, this is what I feel the block is. And it can be the other way as well, because guys saying, you know, that females don't support him. You know, you don't care about his dreams. You're not into this. You're not into that. And I want to get more feedback from the guys on what they feel. You know, obviously I'm a female, so that means a lot of what I share is a female perspective and what I think about the male perspective. But I would really like to hear from the guys and know, you know, how do you guys feel about it? Is what I'm saying on point? Is this really how it is for the guys? Do you understand where I'm coming from? And if it is right, tell me why. Why are you guys, is it the media that has you just so, you know, over-sexualized that, you know, you see a female and you just can't help but say the wrong thing? You know what I mean? Is it true that what you're lacking from us females is likewise support and kind of that energy, that vibration, that proper feeding into the spirit that I'm proposing here? Because I think that's what it is. Let me know how you feel about it. We're going to talk about it in the next episode, all right? We're going to call that one The Man Cave. Yeah, man, that's what it's all about. So again, definitely join the conversation. Facebook and Twitter at After Hours 242 at some point this week. Now, let me explain this real quick. The WhatsApp group After Hours 242 is an elite group, okay? This is like the little VIP group. These are close fans and friends, and yes, there will be some perks for all of our listeners, but in particular for this group. So every once in a while, we're going to be posting up a link for the WhatsApp group in the Facebook group, okay? So join After Hours 242 on Facebook. When we post that link, I will not tell you how long it will be up. Okay? It will not stay up perpetually because, again, the group has a certain vibe. So if you're someone who's really interested in, getting into this conversation, get in on it. Hook up on the link, all right? Real conversations. Of course, you can also check us out on Instagram, like I said. Don't just listen to the show. Give us a like, give us a follow, and subscribe on SoundCloud, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Double Twist, Stitcher, Castbox, and of course, on your favorite podcast app. If it's not listed there, trust me, we're on like more than 14 of them, so there's no reason for you not to keep up. Likewise, you can keep up with me at More Sexy Vanessa on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And don't forget to request your tickets for the Laugh My Ass Off Island Comedy Experience. Again, that's May 20th here in Nassau, Bahamas. And if enough people are coming from the After Hours 242 groups, we may just get a bus and do like a party thing. Yeah, man, get some drinks and have a great time. Again, tickets just $35 available this week. So hit us up online. The Caribbean King of Comedy, major hype, and Bahamian events making it happen. I've bent your ear enough for this episode. Next episode, we enter the man cave. Big ups again to Tina, the producer, and Street King Records. You've been listening to After Hours with Sexy Vanessa. Shalom until next time.